Tonight I want to talk to you all about a rather curious case in my collection. The unusual tale of Dr. Jacob Squab. Our story takes place in the dark, bleak winter of 1873. Dr. Jacob Squab was a well-regarded medical professional, held in high esteem and deeply admired by those who surrounded him. However, it was not in his surgical theatre that Dr. Squab had garnered such praise, but at his dinner parties, which were considered by many to be the main event on the high society calendar. Dr. Squab's dinner parties were famous. Scintillating discussions centered around the classics, which served as the backdrop to the succulent Epicurean delights served by Squab and enjoyed by an ever-increasing guest list of intelligentsia and nobility. As Lady Maxine Rumple-Bottomley surmised in a prolonged exchange of correspondence with the good doctor,
"Dear esteemed and honourable Dr. Jacob Squab, I hope this letter finds you sincerely well and in fine spirits. I write to you concerning your deservedly envied culinary skills. One yearns beyond the capacity of one's heart for the delicate and tender meaty chunks that ooze forth from your soft vol au vents. Pray tell, where might one find the recipe? Yours full of the hopes and dreams of an interminable flowing of meaty goodness, Lady Maxine Rumple-Bottomley."
To my dearest friend and precious soul, Lady Maxine Rumple-Bottomley. With response to your recent missive, please understand, my fair lady and most esteemed guest, that I fear I cannot divulge to you my culinary complexities. You must trust in your honourable host that great skill is required. After all, a little knowledge in the wrong mind oft does more harm than good. Yours with bountiful tides of everlasting affection, Dr. Jacob Squab.
"Dear esteemed and honourable Dr. Jacob Squab, what's that supposed to mean? Are you saying I'm thick? Yours with reservation and yet a glimmer of hope, Lady Maxine Rumple-Bottomley."
To my dearest friend and precious soul, Lady Maxine Rumple-Bottomley. Upon my delicate heart and with shame cast over me if I would ever dare make such a pernicious assumption of by far the fairest...
"Dear esteemed and honourable Dr. Jacob Squab, then pray let me have the recipe, sir. Yours with increasing dissatisfaction, Lady Maxine Rumple-Bottomley." "Dear esteemed and honourable Dr. Jacob Squab, I wrote to you some 3 seconds ago and still have not received a reply. Have you any manners? Yours with increasing consternation, Lady Maxine Rumple-Bottomley." "Dear esteemed and honourable Dr. Jacob Squab." "Well, all right then, you venomous pig. Have it your way. You have not replied since this morning, and so I take it you wish death upon me. Your inexcusable maltreatment of my delicate soul has given me gout. Are you satisfied? I hope you burn in hell, sir. Yours full of poison and malice, Lady Maxine Rumple-Bottomley."
Perhaps it was for the best that Lady Rumple-Bottomley remained in the dark when it came to just how the good doctor managed to consistently deliver such tender, meaty goodness. Lords and ladies, royal appointees, members of Parliament, one and all would sit and regale one another into the wee hours of the night. Yet whenever the conversation turned to the latest advancements in medical science, the regular guests would often sit in silence. But then, on one dark evening, a young medical student by the name of Thomas Dangleberry somehow found his way onto the doctor's guest list and began to cause trouble. A somewhat mediocre cartoon satirist who happened to be at the dinner party, and also happened to be incredibly fast at drawing, captured the entire conversation between the good doctor and this young student upstart.
"I hear that the Morley-Manson technique for the administration of anaesthetic has resulted in a 49% reduction in patient loss."
Which brings me nicely to the subject of somatically induced slaughter that the Epicureans would use to ensure their quarry remained soft and tender.
Are we not reaching an age where we simply cannot fail to save almost every soul that presents itself to us?
Advancements made in medicine have been truly inspiring. But let us not forget the culinary advancements that have been made in the simple kitchen.
I fail to see how any medical professional could possibly find it beyond their ken to not cure it.
And what better way to hasten said patient's recovery than the supplication of nutritional heartiness?
One begins to wonder if there is not something more pernicious afoot when one is confronted by a near-consistent loss of patience.
And yet there is hope in these dark days that the continual supplication of hearty and well-prepared nourishment will help of the local population.
Yet despite the unnerving silence in the room, that almost every single one of these losses has been a patient of none other than your esteemed host this evening.
And here I will honor my position as host in providing my esteemed guests this most juicy and tender meatloaf.
Wonderful.
Oh, come on! Does it not seem singular to any one of you here that the rate at which this man excels in his own cookery can only be matched by the rate at which he can deliver us with corpses from his own operating theatre?
Perhaps you would like to pop into my office in the morning, Master Dangleberry, and we can discuss your concerns in a more detailed manner.
Young Thomas Dangleberry agreed to meet with the good doctor. Yet once again lips remained sealed and questions went unasked when the young student failed to turn up at his lectures in the coming weeks. He seemed to just disappear from history, his name mentioned only once in passing a few nights later, when Lady Rumplebottomly remarked upon the similarity between two tender meaty chunks in her morceau du pain et sauce aux framboises and the missing young medical student's testicles. It was never known if there was any veracity in young Dangleberry's claims. The good Dr. Jacob Squab continued to practice medicine well into his 90s, until in 1904 he passed away at home, peacefully in his sleep, when several intense arterial ruptures across his aorta occurred simultaneously. During his career, Squab lost some 17,428 patients, yet despite this, a plaque was made in his honour that still stands today. And that brings us to the end of tonight's tale. But before you go, just remember that the next time you find yourself salivating over a meaty feast, you might ask yourself, what happens to all those organ donations that don't get used? Good night, viewers, and succulent dreams.